see this? We all have very different opinions on these. Some say I shouldn't have one at all. Some say this is just fine. And others say I need something a little bigger. Regardless of our opinions on the matter, the Constitution says we have the legal right to own one of these. But what if, one day, it was taken away from you? This became the reality for a few people living in Chicago.
Hey there, I'm Jackson Johnson, who you just saw earlier. I'm gonna keep my face in the frame because I'm just that beautiful. Who you saw earlier was a good friend of mine. His name is Josiah. Anyways, I'm here to talk to you about a certain case of mine, and as you saw earlier, it has to do with firearms. I want you to imagine 2010, Chicago, and you know, back then, Chicago, some people say it still isn't. Chicago isn't the greatest place in the world. You know, crime runs rampant, there's plenty of shootings, plenty of people dying, not good stuff. And during that time, Chicago was like, hey, guns are causing a problem. Easiest way to get rid of that, let's just ban handguns. Majority of the crimes were committed with handguns, majority of the deaths were handguns. So if we get rid of handguns, pretty easy. But obviously, that's a problem, because what do you think our Second Amendment is? Oh, you don't know what our Second Amendment is? How do you not know what our Second Amendment is? Here, let me read it to you.
The Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Alright, so now you're probably wondering about the case itself. The case itself was pretty complex. There were previous cases before this, such as the District of Columbia v. Heller, which also talked about whether states could ban certain firearms or whatever. This was done in about 2009, the same year I was born, actually. And basically, courts also ruled that, you know, they can do it the same way, but there was still some questions about what they could and couldn't do. When it came to what happened in Chicago, the ordinance came out that said you can't have handguns. A Illinois Fire Association decided, hey, Firearms Association, not fire, very different things. So Firearms Association helped with the litigation that was to press the charges that, hey, this is a problem, you're pressing on our rights to own firearms. And one of those people that happened to be part of that was a man named McDonald. The case itself was pretty weird. At first it went to the normal court. Obviously they ruled in the favor. They appealed. It went to the 7th Circuit Court. The 7th Circuit Court said, hey, states can do that. They can ban the firearm. And then the Supreme Court came in because they figured it could also help with clearing up what they could do. And at the end of the day, they said, hey, this falls under the 14th Amendment. If you don't know what the 14th Amendment is, I got you.
The 14th Amendment. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce a law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property, without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law.
My bad, guys. That's my mistake. My bad. Slight technical difficulties. That's on me. Anyways, get more into the case. So now it's gotten to the Supreme Court, and now the Supreme Court has to argue whether or not the 14th Amendment can be applied to local and state governments. It's a lot of legal stuff. So I'm just gonna read this verbatim. The majority agreed that the 14th Amendment incorporates the Second Amendment rights recognized in Heller, which was another Supreme Court case that was also argued a lot about, but was split on the rationale. Waiting for 4 members of the Supreme Court, Justice Alito found that the Due Process
Clause incorporated the right against the states, while joining most of the rest. While joining most of the rest of Alto's opinion, Justice Thomas and his concurrence, I can't read. I'm sorry. Concluded that the right to bear arms is incorporated only or on alternative grounds, namely through the privileges and immunity clauses of the 14th Amendment. It goes on to talk some more, brings up some other cases, but essentially the Supreme Court said that having the right to defend yourself is a basic human right, and part of that right allows you to own a firearm for that case. So, eventually, at the end of the day, the Supreme Court said that the Second Amendment right is not able to be removed from you or taken away from you as long as it is for self-defense. That is a basic right that everyone has, is the right to defend yourself. And with that, I think that brings us to the end of this documentary here. Probably not my best work yet, but I think I put some effort into this. Anyways, to give credit, the guy you saw at the beginning, if you didn't hear me at first, that is an old friend of mine. His name was Josiah. I knew him back in Kansas. He's currently in Mississippi. And I decided he should help me out with this. And he did. And I think he did a fantastic job. We get a little clap for him. All the soundtracks and stuff that you've heard are from video games, LA Noire and Mafia. Other than that, I made all the editing, I filmed all the footage, I put it all together, so majority of this is made by me, so I should get the credit. Anyways,